Thursday afternoon. Thank you all for joining us today. On today's Learning Lab, we are going to be taking you through reconciling the control accounts. But just before we get started on the Learning Lab, I'm going to take you through some introductions and a little bit of housekeeping. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Fiona, I work in customer success, and taking us through today's Learning Lab will be Zintle. Zintle works in our in-tax support team. Some of you may have already spoken with Zintle. A little bit of housekeeping for you. Throughout the session, microphones will be muted. There will be the opportunity at the end of the session to take yourself off of mute, and you can ask away any questions you have. We will open up for questions at the end, so you'll know when it's time to take yourself off mute and ask any questions. If you would rather, though, there is a question panel box on the GoToWebinar that you can type in any questions as we go along, and I will read those out at the end. Anything we're unable to help with today, or answer on today's session, we will take offline and be in touch with you. Finally, the Learning Lab today is going to be recorded, and you will receive a copy of this recording at the end of the session, and that will be sent to you via email, and you can share that with colleagues or anybody else who was unable to attend today. So that's everything from me. I will now pass you over to Zintle.
Thank you so much, Fiona, and good afternoon, everyone. As Fiona has said, my name is Zintle, and we'll be doing today reconciling control accounts. On our agenda today, we have why general ledger and supplier report do not reconcile. We have a reconciling account for the first time. We have a few key steps to reconcile an account and steps to reconcile control account, and when to reconcile and finalize a reconciliation and common reconciliation errors. Right, on our first agenda of the day, going through why general ledger and customer supplier reports do not reconcile. And common most issues that we come across on the imbalances. So this is usually caused by data error that are main drivers for this issue. Like balances do not match from the go live, and incorrect report criteria like wrong dates or filters that are selected wrong, and allocation or payment data that mismatch, outstanding AR invoices that are important as historical invoices. And these key points on that: these do not post to general ledger and only to AR or AP subledgers, because it's assumed they are or they were already accounted for in the old system. So the imbalance is usually caused by historical invoices, as I've mentioned, that are reversed or deleted, removed from subledger, but not from the general ledger. So manual journal entries are posted directly to AR or AP control accounts, updated. So this doesn't update the general ledger, it only updates the subledgers. So imbalances usually happen because historical AR or AP imports do not update to GM, and because someone posts manual journal entries direct to the AR or AP control account. But to avoid this, reversing historical transactions is not really what we would recommend, and we also recommend block direct posting to AR or AP control account. On the second slide, we have reconcile an account for the first time. So to do this, you would go to your cash management, all the reconciliation, you can choose a bank or credit. I will demonstrate. So on Intake, you will navigate to Applications, Cash Management, and under Reconciliation, you would choose your bank. So in here, you would choose the first time account that you will be reconciling, and you would have to put in your beginning cutoff date. This would be what you have before you go live, and your beginning ending statement, this would be on your bank statement, and the statement ending balance would be on your bank statement for the month as well. And you could select continue. Right. So in here, you would have your intake transactions. There would be your opening balances. This is the one that comes from the Go Live system. And then you have to also have your bank transactions. This would be from your statement and your bank. So these are transactions that are only on your bank, which means you would need to add them to intake. So to do that, you would either do action and do a funds transfer or journal entry or receive payment, okay? Right. Excuse me. So to reconcile an account for the first time, you select the account to reconcile and you enter the beginning cutoff date, as I've mentioned, and you enter the transactions on the previous system selected. And these transactions that have a date before the beginning balance, which is the cutoff date, and then you enter the statement ending balance, as I've said, you continue. And in the transaction table, you see the two entries, the beginning balance, which consists of the sum of the account GL account transactions up to the beginning balance date. This number should equal to the ending balance on the statement in your general ledger and the beginning balance of the cutoff date. Right. So after you have make sure that everything is in balance and the amounts are the same from your general ledger and in your system, you would also select continue. It's important to note that if you're reconciling with an import file or bank feed, transactions must match based on the account rule set that is within your company. So manually matching remaining transactions and creating additional transactions as needed. This is when you would have your bank statement in hand and the transactions that are on the bank in intact. So that would be, you would select the transaction on your bank statement and the transaction matching the bank that you have already transferred. So when the amount to reconcile is 0, that's when you can start finalizing your bank statement, your reconciliation. Now on the next one, we have a few key steps to reconcile control account. So firstly, you need to verify the account setup. So ensure that the GL account is properly associated with the bank account you want to reconcile. When you are creating your bank account, you have an option to select the GL accounts that you want to associate with the bank. So you need to make sure that those are correct and are properly associated with the bank. And then you check the account that was created at the appropriate level. So either you do it on top level or entity level. So based on your company structure, if you create your accounts on top level, please make sure that you reconcile on top level. If it's on entity level, please make sure that you reconcile on entity level. And also confirm the necessary permissions to reconcile the account, including your entity level restrictions. So to choose reconciliation method, so as I've mentioned, you have the manual reconciliation, that is your bank statement against the bank on intact, or you can use the automated method like importing your bank statement transactions using the bank transaction file or connecting the bank feed. So the bank transaction file, you would find it here. This is the import transaction that we use. So you would select that if you want to import your transactions, and then you would add, and then you choose the bank that you are going to be importing transactions from, and you select continue. And then you would have your import and CSV ready to be selected there, and then you upload that. And apply reconciliation rules. So to apply the reconciliation rule, you would create reconciliation rules and add them to a rule set to automatically match the transactions. So rules help ensure consistency treatment of items like credits and debits and unmatched transactions. To match incoming transactions from an import file or bank feed, these create rules and add them to a rule set and then assign that rule set to the account. And reconcile the account within the level or entity in which it was created. So perform the reconciliation. So you will review the transactions and mark them as reconciled, or make a necessary adjustment, investigate and resolve any discrepancies between your records and bank transactions on your bank statement. And then lastly, you'll finalize your reconciliation. Once all transactions are accounted for, you finalize the reconciliation, you would update, and this will update your general ledger balance and provide the audit trail. So when to reconcile? Most companies perform a reconciliation at the end of the month. However, you can match transactions throughout the month, or even perform a daily or soft reconciliation to help eliminate your month-end close. Users with appropriate permissions can then finalize the reconciliation when all transactions are accounted for. So before you finalize your reconciliation, make sure that all transactions are entered into Intact and that all charge payoffs are completed. Right, finalizing your reconciliation. So before you finalize the reconciliation, make sure that the following are true. All appropriate transactions have been matched. All necessary transactions are entered in Sage Intact, and all charge payoffs are completed. The amount to reconcile field is equal to 0, and the reconciliation report will appear, and the account is reconciled. You would view details of the reconciliation on the reconciliation history page, and there you can also reopen or reconcile if you need to make adjustments. So this would be up here. So you would be on cash management and the reconciliation. Under reconciliation, you would view your reconciliation history. This is where you'd find your report. So the last reconciliation was this month. And then you would download your reconciliation report. You click there, you export it to Excel, and then you would have your reconciliation report. Here, you can also reopen the reconciliation and make the necessary adjustments that you would need to make if your reconciliation was not done properly. And that's it on finalizing your reconciliation. And on the next slide, common reconciliation errors, manual journal entries to control account. Okay, so the issues that you would find on manually reconciling your control account. So journal posted directly to a control account bypass the subledger. This may cause mismatch between the general ledger and subsidiary ledger. So to fix that, you would have to identify and reverse or reclassify these entries properly before you do your reconciliation. And then duplicate entries. Under duplicate entries, some transactions are recorded more than once. So in this case, it is best to identify duplicates and then you reverse them or you correct them before your reconciliation. And incorrect account mapping. So this issue would be transactions that are made in the wrong general ledger account. So the impact would be on the control account, doesn't reflect the correct activities. So to review this, or to fix it, you'd have to review accounts mapping in the system setup and correct the misclassification. So just to quickly show you, right? So this would be the general ledger control account. You need to make sure on your AP that the general ledger, the disallowed direct posting is ticked, so that you don't have any mismatch of any accounts that happens. And on your accounts receivable as well, you need to make sure that you deselect. So this is not selected there. Select that and then you save. And all the postings would be done properly. And these 4 historical invoices as well, since they were already reconciled in the previous bank, you would need to make sure that before you import them, those that tick box is ticked when you import your historical transactions. And lastly, reversal not properly posted. So the issue would be reversed transactions are not reflecting in both ledgers. So the impact would be one ledger shows the reversal and the other doesn't. And to fix that, you need to ensure that reversals are posted correctly and completely. Right, and that will be the end of our session today. Fiona, do we have any questions?
Thanks, Implay. Thanks for putting that on for us and going through all that. That's really good. No questions have come into the question panel, but if anybody does have a question, please, I can see PC, I can see your hand has been raised. Are you able to take yourself off mute and ask a question, or did you want to pop something into the question box? Just give that a moment for any questions to come through, but you should hopefully be able to take yourself off mute and ask a question as well. Let's just give that a minute.
Hello.
Hello, P. Hi.
Yes. Just wanted to check something. I think you've gone through about 4 issues on common reconciliation errors, manual journal posting to control accounts. I think that one is quite clear. But is there a way from the system where you're able to pick from reviewing the general ledger to see which entries were posted automatically, maybe from accounts payable or accounts receivable, and you compare to those posted by journal without someone just picking maybe general as a journal type? Is there another report other than just selecting the journal type?
Thank you so much for your question. We would have to take this offline and then give you an email.
Oh, okay. Then duplicate entries.
Yes.
How does this happen? Because I understand the sub accounts, which is say for AP, will be running in the background, and that should feed into the general ledger. So I would assume if something is duplicated in the sub accounts, should also reflect a similar duplication in the general ledger.
Yeah, so you're saying that there's duplication in the GL or in the subledgers?
I think it should be subledgers because the GL is fed by the subledgers. Is that not so?
Yes, yeah. But are you seeing duplicate entries at the moment?
Not necessarily, but I'm just trying to understand how does that cause reconciling issues between the geo and subledgers.
I think that may be something that we just need to maybe investigate in your system. So we'll take it offline if you don't mind, Peace, and we can look into that a bit further.
Oh, okay.
Is
Then
that
on
okay?
yeah, that's fine. Probably the last question: incorrect mapping, account mapping. Just wanted to understand. Is it possible to have AP like the sub ledgers mapped to two general ledger accounts, like two control accounts, or you'd also need to have the individual AP accounts mapped to a certain control account? How does that work from a mapping point of view? And how also are you able to review that mapping diagram from Sage Intact?
So I'm not sure I completely understand the question. I don't know if you do, Cynthia.
Yeah, for example, I may have two control accounts, like for accounts payable.
Yes, yeah.
How would I reconcile that back to the sub ledgers? Or is there a way from the sub ledgers where I can have a certain group of sub ledgers feeding into one control accounts for accounts payable, and another group of suppliers again feeding into another control account? And how am I able to see the mapping diagram from, because if I'm to do any investigation around how these things are not matching, probably I should be able to refer to a certain diagram to check how these things are not tying back.
Yeah, just to see where they're all mapped to. So we do have some mappings in the system, but again, it would need further investigation of your system to see how that's been set up, how that's been configured for you. But we probably need to get on a call with the consultant who implemented that actually, and just go through all of the configuration and how the nominals were created and set up, and how that feeds in from each of the subledgers.
Oh, okay. So we can probably have a separate
Yeah.
call on another day.
Absolutely. It sounds like we've got a few things to go through. So yeah, absolutely. We can take that offline and work with that. Thank you for your question.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll hear from you.
We'll reach out following this. Yes, yeah, absolutely. We'll reach out following the learning lab and get in touch.
Oh, okay.
And arrange
All right.
another call with you. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry we couldn't answer those directly.
No problem. No problem.
No
Sure.
problem. If anybody else has any other questions, please feel free to put them in the box, and then we'll just wrap up the session. Okay, I think that's it, Cynthia. So if you just put me onto the next slide, I'll just quickly wrap up. Super. So thank you all for joining today. If you do have any questions following today's session that you would like to get a little bit more information on, please do reach out. My email address is on the screen now, and you can also, you should have our support contact details, so you can also contact our support team for any further questions. Like I said, you will receive a copy of this learning lab via email. That should be coming to you following this learning lab. Our next learning lab is going to be on the, sorry, it's come off the screen now. It is going to be on the 9th of October, and it is regarding, just bear with me, apologies. It's going to be taking you through the, I think it's the customer refunds. Let me just, sorry, one moment, I'll just pull it up. It's got
Hi, Fiona. Hello?
It looks like we're having an issue with the
Yeah, we're having an
Oh.
issue. Sorry, our next learning lab is going to be on the 9th of October. I believe it's around customer refunds, but you will be receiving a invite to that session from our marketing team, and they'll also, you should have received a learning lab this week from our marketing team, which has all of the events on, because not only have we got some learning labs that we're doing, also Sage are putting on a couple of learning labs as well. I know that theirs are on the 15th of October, they've got one on customer refunds, and then on the 19th of November, they've got one on financial reporting. So that's all included in the newsletter that the marketing team have sent out. So I do apologise about a few technical issues there at the end. I can't find the exact details of our learning lab. Go on.
It's going to be on Navigating Sage in Text like a Pro on the 9th of October.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Zintley. Brilliant. Any questions, do reach out to us, and we do hope you've enjoyed today's learning lab. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.